Go ahead.
Thank you so much,
afternoon,
and thank you everyone for joining us today as we discuss Patient Health Rights Charter, as well as the Mobile Principles. Unfortunately, Tam's on call today, so he did contribute, but he's unable to join us today, and he'll be joining us
will demonstrate the importance of separation of powers.
So today it's Jessica and I.
And then we'll look at some definitions like
we believe that this is
law, and then look
an important topic to begin with, as it forms part of the
foundation. And then lastly, look at some important
as
health legislation,
professionals,
those that have recently come in and are still
should be the basic standard that we strive for.
Becoming a law, and those older legislations and some takeaway messages and some vignettes which have been important just to highlight the importance of this lecture. So by definition, when we speak about laws, they are essentially general principles which often dictate policies and our behaviors, and they're not regularly updated. In comparison, regulations, on the other hand, are rules and procedures which look at
health is a basic human right.
So
and it's important that we as healthcare professionals are familiar with these so that we advocates for our patients' health, particularly in historically such rights were violated, were denied. So it's paramount as per our constitution to
lovely. So regulations essentially reside within certain powers of government, and that's the national, provincial, municipal,
I'll just get into it,
as well as statutory bodies. And how statutory bodies are essentially generated is by
first right that is on Health Right Charter is
which will be further
the right to a healthy and safe environment.
And essentially
this would include adequate water supply, waste disposal, and protection from environmental dangers.
And then when we look at an important other aspects within law is that civil society,
and this applies to us now during the COVID era, keeping patients safe by simple things like sanitizing our surfaces, washing our hands frequently, making sure consultations
looking at the authorities in South Africa, the
ventilated.
highest legal authority in South Africa is the Constitution,
and it's part of upholding their rights.
Then we have government and its branches.
So the next right that's mentioned is
legislature, which is also known as Parliament, is a division of government.
So
and then we have the executive branch, and then we have the judiciary.
Patients don't only have the right
and
to
this is
participate
important
in
because this is essentially allows for the
health,
separation of
but
powers,
they have every right
which will
to
further be demonstrated in the
part and parcel of the development
treatment
of
action
health
campaign.
policies as well.
So looking at it, when we look at it, zoning into the
one.
national legislature, also known as
Number
Parliament,
one is
we have the
timely
upper house,
emergency
which is
care
comprised of
for all,
10
regardless of
representatives from each of 9
to
provinces, and they're the National Council
treatment
of
and
Provinces.
rehabilitation
And then we have the
is also
National
very important.
Assembly,
And
which is the
that
lower
treatment
house,
and
those are 400
rehabilitation must be
members, which
made
are
known to the
proportional
patients to enable the patient to understand
which is a result
such treatment
of the
and
national
rehabilitation and the consequences thereof.
vote. And so
and of course,
then
provision
from
for
this
special needs.
party, you may have a parliamentary
with regards
committee,
to
which is approved
newborns,
by
for instance,
Parliament to assist with the
newborns
development
the
of laws.
incubators, the age,
And
pregnant
then
women have
within the
access to
executives,
ANC
the
clinics and
executive's
their own special
responsibility
casualty,
is essentially
the maternity
to
casualty,
now
those
look at
with
the laws that are
disabilities,
generated
that would include not only
by
physical disabilities,
Parliament,
but
and look at how
those
to
who
generate
are
policies.
deaf, those
And
who are blind,
within
those
the
who have intellectual
executive, you have the cabinet,
disabilities,
which is the top tiers
those
of
living with HIV
executives,
and AIDS, and
that is
something
the
that is
president, deputy
often
government
much
ministers,
neglected,
and
those
ministers of
in
government
pay.
departments.
Need to
And
be
the third
provided
branch
for
of
as
government
well.
is looking at the judiciary, and
Continuing
they're
with
essentially
access to
responsible with the
healthcare,
interpretation and
it
application
is very
of the law.
important
And there's
as
4
healthcare
levels of
professionals
the judiciary system, which is the magistrate court, which looks at
without discrimination
civil
or
cases, minor
or
criminal
violence.
cases,
And this,
and then higher
for
up,
example,
you have
would
the High
apply
Court, which
to
deals with
a patient
major
with,
civil cases
living
and
with
criminal
HIV
cases,
and AIDS and the ethical
as well as
dilemmas that may
provincial
occur there.
magistrate
Or,
court appeals.
for instance, a
then
patient
further up from that, we have
wishing
the
to undergo
Supreme Court of
termination
Appeals,
of
which
pregnancy.
looks at the appeals
Inadequate
of the
counseling
High Courts.
is
And then
a
lastly, we have
hindrance
the
to
Constitutional
access of
Court,
health.
which looks
And
at
that is
any
something that we
breaches
need to
within
be
the
aware of.
Constitution. And
Palliative
importantly,
care
an
is
appeal is
very
that when a
important. Palliative care
judgment
that is
by the
affordable
court has been
and
found to be
effective is important,
fair
and not
or
only for
incorrect
those, of course, who are
interpretation of the
terminally
law.
ill,
So some important
but for those
statutory
with
bodies in South
incurable,
Africa, and I won't go into
long-term
detail,
chronic
is that
illnesses
the
need to be taken care of. As much as we strive
we're
to
familiar, but we also have the South African Nursing Council,
save lives
Medical
and to cure
Medicines
illnesses,
Control Council,
we
the
also
South African
need to keep in
Pharmacy
mind that
Council,
it's
the
just as
Council of Medical
important
Schemes,
to
and the Health and
improve as
Welfare
much as we can
Sector for
everyone's
Education and
quality of
Training,
life,
which is
our patients'
essentially the
quality of life.
statutory body involved with
It
our
goes
training
without
when we were at
saying
medical school.
that
And the
as
CPD
healthcare
points, which we will have to get
professionals, we need to
post-concert.
have a positive disposition towards
Internship,
our
sorry.
patients at all times.
So now when we think of laws, there's a
And
particular
health
process in which
information
laws are generated.
needs
Laws
to be
aren't there.
available to
They go
to
through a
patients,
generation process, and we are
including
familiar
all
with this as
available health services.
we've had the opportunity to see the process with the NHI.
This may not
So the
necessarily
NHI
apply to
is
us now as
currently a
interns,
bill.
but it
So when we
definitely
were in first
will
year,
for a lot of
the
us
NHI
in the
was still
future.
part of the Green
And that's
Paper,
knowledge
which
of
is
one's health
essentially a
insurance
document
and
drafted
medical
by the
aid
relevant
scheme.
minister, in this
So
case
a
for the
patient is
NHI, it was the
entitled
Department
to
of
this
Health,
information.
which opened
And
the
a healthcare
platform for
professional should
discussions in
actually go
Commons.
above and
And then
beyond and
later on,
challenge
further in
where
med school,
necessary
we
the decision
learned that the
of
NHI
such
became a white paper,
insurances or medical
which
aid
then
scheme
took into
relating to the member.
consideration all the comments and
Because our
commentary
best
from the general
interest is the
public
patients, and
and the
a medical
Parliament,
aid
and
scheme
then
would
and
probably
then
have
further
the
detailed the
financial
government's
books
intentions
as
behind
their
this
best interests. So
proposed law.
we as
And
healthcare
then
professionals need
this
to
allows for
advocate for them in
Parliament
this way.
to then give further suggestions for amendments.
Choice of health
And now
services.
currently the
Every patient
NHI
has the
is a
right
bill,
to
and that means
choose a
this is a
healthcare
drafted
provider
version
and
of
to
the law.
choose
And that
the
allows
facility that they
and this is essentially drawn up by the minister.
wish to
It is seeking approval by
be provided.
cabinet, and it essentially allows for the and it
goes without saying
essentially
again
advisors
that
to certify that the
every
bill
healthcare
is in
professional
line
needs
with
to
the
be named.
Constitution. Okay, and so the bill must be then accepted by the higher house of the higher house, which is the Council of Provinces,
Confidentiality and
Assembly,
privacy
which is the lower
is a
house
huge
of Parliament.
one. Information concerning one's health,
law, which
including
will be
treatment,
done once the president
may
has
only
signed it
be
off.
disclosed with informed consent,
So
which we will
important
discuss
policy.
as well.
So the importance of
Except
now we've
when
looked at
required
laws,
in
and
terms
now
of
what
the
of
law
this is
or any
how
order
does
of the
policies
court.
fit in all this? So policies are essentially guidelines.
And here we go. Informed consent.
That is essentially
informed consent
what we know
is
as
the
standard
right to
operating
full
procedures,
and
and we've come
accurate
across this
information,
often
not only
during
about the
the
patient's
first wave
illness,
of the COVID
but
pandemic,
about the
where
diagnostic
each department
procedure,
generated a way
about
to
the proposed
deal with it.
treatment,
But
about
importantly, is
the
the
risks
policy
of
will not.
involvement
You cannot be
and the
incriminated by
costs
it.
of involvement.
You can only get in trouble by your employer and be held
as
accountable,
well.
but you can never be incriminated for breaking
So
policy.
further on, patients also have the right to refuse treatment.
The real importance around
I'm sure
policies
a lot
is
of
that
us have
it
already
allows
encountered
for
patients
someone to
where we've had
remove
to
the personal
sign
element of it. So an example of this
patients
is
have every right
the
to do
inappropriate
so.
EMS
Patients have a right to
referrals we
second
got in
opinion,
maternity and trauma,
continuity
where
of
we
care,
could
and also complaints
zone down that there was a
with health
policy that there's an
services.
appropriate referral system, but also
And of course, with all rights
the process
come
of
with
having a psych
responsibilities,
referral,
and
where
I'll
there's
just
a
go
policy
through
written that
some
we
of
need
these
to rule out medical
responsibilities
things, and
briefly.
these are policies that we're
Every
dealing
patient
with.
has the right to take
So
care of his
now that we're
or
going to
her
look
own
at the National
health,
Department of Health, and so the
to
National
care and
Department of
protect for
Health
the
is
environment,
important.
to
They're
respect the
responsible
rights of
for the
other
national health
patients and
policies,
the
and they
healthcare
set the
providers,
national standards,
and to
look at
utilize the healthcare system properly and not abuse it. Every patient has a right to know his or her local health services.
They look at the general functionality within
they have the right to provide healthcare
provinces, but
they have the responsibility to know his or her local health services and what they offer. They have the responsibility to provide healthcare providers with relevant and accurate information for diagnostic, treatment, rehabilitation, or counseling purposes.
And decides how much budget will be spent where. And this allows for
are responsible for advising the healthcare providers
any
when it
shortfall in
comes to
provision
issues
of
of
healthcare is the
death or the end of life care.
So I've discussed the
Patients should
national and
comply with
provincial, and so
have the
the
responsibility to
provincial
comply
minister
with the
receives input
prescribed
from the
treatment or
CEOs of large
rehabilitation
hospitals and
procedures.
directors of district health, and then we have 9 provinces,
They are
the
responsible
municipalities, the
for
metropolitan
costs
districts, and I
that may
won't
be
go
related
into
to their
that.
treatment. And of course, to take care
but
of
importantly, some of
the
the health regulations that we need to know behind it is that the municipalities are responsible for the quality, water quality, general waste management, and pest control, etc., which are relevant to health. But importantly, removal of hazardous substances resides within the provincial department and not the local municipality.
Which means people first. It is an initiative that was launched in 1997 to transform the public healthcare system. As previously mentioned by Luandile, Democratic South Africa really inherited a public service that was not very people-friendly and lacked the skills and attitudes required to meet the challenges facing the country
was the
at that particular
primary
moment
healthcare
in time.
outreach team, which we've worked
So
closely
what do these principles have to do with us?
With the
Public servants are an
family
integral
department,
part of implementation.
Family
The
medicine,
success of government's
and we've seen
policies
how
is dependent
they
very
work
much
around,
on
and they've
healthcare
been
workers.
generated by
Batopele is a
legislation that was
belief
passed.
set that is
And then
used to
there's the
improve
National
service
Health
delivery
Amendment Act,
within the
which
public sector.
essentially
It is an approach to get
2003,
healthcare
which
workers
then,
to commit to serving people
brought forward
and
the
to find
Health
ways
Standards
to
Office
improve
as well
service
as the Health
delivery.
Ombudsman.
Very importantly, it
And then
also
we have
requires
now
that the public hold
two
the
important
public servants accountable
bills
for
that
the
are coming
quality of
through is the
service that
National
they
Health
provide.
Insurance Bill, which has been approved by the South African
So
cabinet.
there are
But the only
8
problem is
principles
that there's some constitutional breaches, which is
in Batopele,
hindering the
namely
process of
being
it becoming a law.
consultation,
And
standards,
it's lacking a lot of
redress,
details, but I'll go further into it
access,
later on.
courtesy,
And so the
information,
medical schemes
openness
amendment
and
bill, which I'll
transparency,
discuss.
as well as value
And
for
there's a
money.
provisional report of the Competition Commission
So moving
marketing
on
inquiry
to
into
the
the private
first
sector,
principle,
which
namely
essentially
consultation.
is paving
This
the way
requires that healthcare
forward
workers
for
interact with their patients.
how the
We need
NHI
to
can
listen
essentially
to,
come
as
forward
well
with
as learn from
structural
the people that
changes
we
and
serve,
funding for the
as opposed to
healthcare.
taking a more
So
paternalistic
looking at the
approach.
Medical Schemes Amendment
Traditionally,
Act,
doctors have been known to
this is still
dictate to their
currently a
patients
bill,
what they think is best from their own point of view, without taking into consideration the
around the
opinion
same
of the
time of
people
the
that they are serving.
NHI, and the general
Public
goals of
servants
this
need
is
to stay in touch with the people that they serve. This includes finding out what services are needed in the community and how patients would like their services to be delivered. It's also important to understand what patients are also dissatisfied about. However, this would be a meaningless exercise unless this information is relayed back to management so that effective change can take place. The second principle we're dealing with is standard. So a standard of service for each department needs to be set that guides exactly what services to be delivered and of what quality or standard.
And I'm hoping that
this
we will be
includes
able to
communicating
circulate
how
the
long
National
services will
Act.
take. For
It's
instance,
something that
within
you
an
need to be
emergency
aware of,
department, having a
specifically
sign
the
up that
chapter
says,
on district health
approximate waiting
services.
time is this many
In
minutes.
addition to that, the
It's also
two
important to
documents, which is
communicate what
the
healthcare
two
users can
bills that are
expect to
available,
gain from the
I think are
service.
also quite important
If for
for
some
you to
reason
be
standards
familiar
are
with.
not met, patients
And I
can
hope that
expect
he
an
will
explanation as well as an
provide
apology from the facility.
a nice
So
to read,
accountability is
easy
also
to
very
read
important within
document
this
that
principle.
will allow you to see what the
The next
process, what
principle
the
we will
issues
be
are.
dealing with is
But
redress.
often we, as
When
health
people do not
practitioners,
get what they are
don't read the
entitled to,
legislation. They're
what they're
not actually
entitled to
as
from the public
hard as all
service,
that to
they
read.
have a right to
If you skim
redress.
through it, you can
This
easily pick
means
up
that the
good
public
ideas,
servant
but
should immediately
still reading the
apologize to
media,
them
go
and
and
also
read these
tell them
documents
what
yourself
solution
so
they are
that
able to
you
offer
are
for their
familiar
problem.
with
If the
exactly what
public
these
servant
say.
does not have a solution,
Often there's
they should speak to a
misquoting
manager or a supervisor
and not a good
and
sense
make
of it
sure
that
that the
comes out in
problem
the
is sorted
media.
out as amicably as possible.
So
The public
I'm not
service's
sure that
success
Yuval will
and image
still get on
is built on
board.
its
Let me
ability
just
to deliver
see
what people
if
expect
anyone
from
can
them.
reach out to Yuval.
When complaints are made, citizens should receive a sympathetic as well as a positive response. Next, we will be dealing with this, which Luandile has already
the key
touched
that
upon,
I
but
think
I will
Yuval
just
needs
further
to
expand
and the
on
team
the
needs to
idea
do
within
is
the
to
context of the Batopele
provide
principles.
us a
So all citizens have
those
the
key
right to equal
documents.
access to
In
the
addition,
services
I
to which they
think
are entitled.
Yuval, if you are on board
This especially
still,
applies to
Yuval,
disabled,
can you hear me?
illiterate, and rural people who have difficulty accessing government services. Public servants have a special role to play to make sure that those who
Yuval
need
will
extra
need to
assistance
provide us
get
a
it.
case. I think
Managers
something that's
should
short, half a
ensure that
page,
these services are
as a
accessible
situation, a
to
scenario
disabled people
that
and that
enables
people
some
who use
discussion about
wheelchairs
what
or
these
walking aids are able to access
particular,
government buildings.
what
Special
this means
arrangements
with
should
this
also be made to
particular
assist
scenario.
people with
So I'm
hearing
sure if
or
you're
visual
struggling with
disabilities.
scenarios, speak to the family physicians
Moving on to
around
the next
you,
principle of
or the
courtesy.
supervisors, or give me a
Healthcare
call
workers
if
are
you're really
employed
struggling.
to help the people and to give them access to the healthcare that
Yuval,
they are
is
entitled to.
anyone got Yuval's
They are
telephone
not
number to just check if he's going
employed
to
to
get
hinder
back
people
on?
or to be obstacles
Hi,
to
Prof,
patients
sorry.
trying to access a service.
Yes, Natasha, you
This
on the go.
means that while in
Yeah, I
contact
can't
with
get
the
hold of
public,
him. I'm sorry.
public servants should
Have you
always
got
be
the
courteous as well as
presentation?
helpful.
I
You want to
do.
Being rude to
continue? I
patients
think
trying
we
to
can just
access the
continue,
healthcare
pick up
system
where
is
you
not
left off.
justifiable. It is important to have a positive attitude
Hang on.
towards
And let
patients.
me just
This
give you the
improves
ability to
rapport and
share.
also encourages better
Can you
health-seeking
just hang on?
behavior
Let me
from
just get
patients
the.
in future.
Sorry.
The
Okay,
next
guys, please
principle
come
is
on as a team and
information.
be ready to
All
pick up
citizens
if
should
we
be
have
given full
challenges like
information
these.
about the services that they have a right to get. If a public
And
servant
Natasha, you
does not
should be
have
able to
information,
share.
they
You
should
should
try
see
and find
something
out
showing share on your
and
share
help the
screen.
person which they are seeing.
It's either the
When referring
bottom
someone
in
elsewhere,
green or on the top
they
if you've
need
got
to
a
be very clear about
phone.
what the patient can expect to get there, what they need to take with them, and the exact person that they are supposed to be seeing.
Sorry, I just need
The
to.
better informed people
No
are,
problem.
the easier it is, and the
There we
easier it will
go.
be for public service to do its job, and
Are
the
you able
fewer
to share
people
your
we will
screen?
find in our
Yeah.
queues. Public
Good, sure.
servants are encouraged to spend some extra time with people who need a better explanation or special assistance because they cannot understand or cannot access the services themselves. This includes making the use of a translator when required.
I don't know, I think
And
my
more
privacy settings
importantly,
are
I
just
think
not
more
letting me
healthcare
share.
workers
Sorry.
need to make an effort to learn a second or third South
On your
African language
screen, if
in
you
order to
hover,
better
you should see
communicate
share screen in
information to
green.
patients.
Yeah, no, this share screen's not an issue. It's just that it
The next
won't let me
principle is openness and transparency.
share
Okay,
the
let me
PowerPoint.
just
It is
see
important
if
for
I
the
can
public service and its
change the
administration to
setting.
be run as openly as possible. The public
I
service
think,
is there primarily to serve the people, and they have a right to these services, as
are you
previously
getting
mentioned.
through now?
Many people, however, especially the poor, do not yet have access to many services simply because they do not have the information to
Can I just
access
see if one
them.
of the others can
This is where transparency plays a
If
very
they can
crucial
come up
role.
and then
The
I can
public
give them
also
the
have the
chance.
right to
There's a
know
few
how
minutes
decisions
left.
are made,
If there
how
are
a
any comments
department
or
is run,
questions in the
who is in
meanwhile,
charge,
Yeah,
and
we
what
can
the
answer that
plans
for
and
you.
budgets for each department
any
is.
comments, questions people would like to raise
The
in the
last
comments?
principle we will be
Dr.
looking
Aki
at
or
is
any of the
value
family
for money.
physicians,
It
if you'd
is
like to add any
imperative that
comments.
wastage of very scarce resources is kept to a minimum. Public servants need to deliver a
Yes, hi,
service that
Shabir.
is cost
Yes, go
effective
ahead, Jimmy.
and
Yeah,
efficient.
I think this is
It is also our duty
an
to inform
important
management of any
piece of
wastage of
discussion
resources
because
and to find ways of
most of the
saving
time
money
we look
and
at
time,
ourselves as
all without compromising the
clinicians,
quality of the service that we
and
provide,
nobody even
because
thinks
the
about
patient should
the
be at the center of
legislation
our care.
governing what we are doing. I
Thank you
think
very much. That brings us
going
to the end
forward,
of
we
our
need to
presentation.
make sure that people are au fait
We
with
have the
what is
references that we
going on
use
in
here.
that
And
area,
then if anyone has
because
any
it
questions
impacts on the
for
quality of the
us,
service that we offer to our patients,
Wonderful.
as well
Thank you
as
very much. I think that's a great
the
presentation, and I think
the
it's in
way
the same vein
the
that we've
community
seen
view
last
our
year, that you
service.
guys do
So
wonderful
if you are
jobs
not
in
aware
terms
of
of
some of these
giving
things, then
information and
it creates a
providing
lot of
insights. And I
questions in
think
people's minds.
doing it in a manner that's
And
useful to
I
you
do
as
think
young
that it's
doctors.
also
So
our
thank you for that.
responsibility as clinicians to
I
make
want to
sure that
say that
the people we are serving
just
also do
just
have
to
an
help
idea of
everybody
what
understand,
we are talking about when we talk
Batupele
about
is a
legislations
principle, or
and
Batupele
so on
principles
and
are
so
there
forth.
for the
Yes.
entire public service.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Whether you go to a
I
home
think that's
affairs
useful.
office,
Any other
or whether you
comments?
go to agriculture office, or
Okay,
anywhere
I
in
think
this
like
country,
Dr.
any public service
Petkova raised,
will
this
have to
can be a
follow
question
the
in an interview
Batupele.
that you come up
Health
for a
has
job in the public
additionally
service. Don't be
added a
surprised.
patient
Tell us
rights
what you think or
charter,
know about the
and with it,
you
it
know,
actually is more like a
legislation
rights
that's
and responsibilities.
that's there
So it, in
and
fact,
how it fits
tries
in.
to creep in that
So,
question of
Natasha,
what are
I
the
think you haven't been able to
responsibilities
come up with anything. I'm waiting for anybody,
patients as
so
well.
just unmute if
So
you're
that's
ready.
just
But
a
in the
slight
meanwhile,
difference between
the
the
next
two.
5-10
People might have
minutes, I'll
seen
just share. So
a
please
lot of overlap
cut me
between
off
the two,
if you
but
are
they're
able
not.
to present.
Then that's not an
So
overlap.
basically,
That's
I think
simply
a
the
very
purpose for
important
each of
piece
those
of
documents.
legislation is the South
Patient
African
rights is for health only. So
National
the
Health
purpose,
Act.
I mean,
This
this
act
is
actually
a
went
useful presentation in which
changed
you can
slightly
find
the
lots of
emphasis of the
material for you to
Constitution
reflect.
in
I want to ask
1997,
that you
which
think about some
delegated
key documents
health
that you
towards
think
local
worthwhile.
government.
They might be
In
short.
that setting,
You
and
don't
this
want to
was
throw
good
at
practice
people
because
lots
it
of
said
documents, right?
basically we
You
want
want
to
to give
have
them something that
health
you found while you're
decentralized as
reading.
much as possible.
Say, this is really
But with the
neat. It's a
setting up
nice,
of local
easy to read
government, it was
document,
realized the
worth
capacities were very
sharing.
poor in
Please
local
share it.
government.
So I
And
want
want you to share
National Health
to
Act
me
actually pulled
the
away from that
presentation,
and
as
made
well as
local
those key documents,
help
a provincial government
something that if it's important, if it's
so
long,
health
but very
services are
important,
primarily
you can
run
highlight
by
which pages, which areas are
provincial
important.
governments.
But this would be one of
Provincial
those
governments
kinds
were
of
then
things. So please
tasked
share
to
that.
create
In addition to
health
that, we would
districts
want you, and I
across the
hope you'll have
country
done it. If you'll have
in
it,
line
please
with
try and address it
the local
in the next
government
1 or 2
process.
days.
So,
Is
for
look for a
example,
patient
in
scenario,
West Rand
not patient, but
which is a
a
district
real life
municipality,
scenario. It
the
might
health
be
district West
staff
Rand
at a
has to be
clinic or a
fitting in with
situation at
the
a clinic, a story,
configuration of West
not a
Rand
long story,
as a
something you
municipality.
probably came across.
And within it, it's got
and
sub-districts
that you can share in a
which
half
are
page,
local
not
municipalities,
more than a page.
as
Just a
opposed
half
to the
page is
district
probably good enough.
municipality.
As
In metros,
something
again,
of
it
a,
follows
of
the
a
same configuration.
situation and give some
In
questions
terms of
to
doing
help
that,
a
they
group discussion.
also,
You know,
in the
that's
National Health Act,
to point them
said
to
that
to
these
give them
health
some meat
districts
to
will
go through
be
it and
run
some
by
provocative
provinces. So
questions,
the person
perhaps.
who is running
But I think this would be a really
Johannesburg Health
neat way to
District is
get
a
people
provincial
engaged with
employee
all
employed
this
by
great
the
stuff you share.
provincial Department of
Does that
Health.
seem all right?
There is some
Randile
local
Yes.
government
with
involvement
you
in terms
guys.
of a
So please
district
work on
health
that. I'll
authority.
expect
But in
a
Johannesburg, as many
document,
metros
these
across the
documents in the next
country,
few days.
very
For
strong
other teams that are
politicians,
going to be
they've said,
presenting
no,
from next
we
week,
were
please
used
prepare
where
it
we
in
were
advance.
providing health services.
Email it
We will
even in
continue
advance
it.
so that we
So
can
even
get
though
these
across the
things up
country,
and
many
ready.
local
Even as soon
government
as we
clinics have
finish
been
the
absorbed into the
presentations, they will
provincial
be up on a
services
page,
at a
and
district
then the
level.
team,
In metros,
the
they
rest of the
remain
interns can have access
managed
to it,
by
find the
local
leisure
government.
time to
So
read it
not
and
many of you come
understand it and
across it
engage.
because you're
So
all
that
working in
next week there can be a
provincial
really
government
nice
facilities. But if you
discussion.
come to
All right.
Shewala
So
Community
you guys will
Practice,
be
we
prepared.
get to spend
Yeah.
time in the
All
local
right. I
government
think
clinic.
that you'll find
And
ways
what
to
is very
share it, so it's
notable
not a
about
big
them is
deal.
that they're
I
actually
think the
much
next
better
group as
organized.
well. Yuval is
They're
coming
much
on,
better quality,
and
but
he's
they
sharing the
lack the
screen.
resources to
Yuval,
hire
you guys will
doctors and
do very
nurses,
much the same
especially
thing.
PhD nurses. So
Randile, thank you
there's
very
some
much.
issues around
And
Thank
how
you
it
very
works.
much, Prof.
And then
we've got
just
this new legislation coming
help
along,
each other,
which
to
is on the one
prepare,
hand,
the
to
national
facilitate
health,
and make
national
sure
health
that the group
insurance
discussion is a
scheme,
useful one. And I think
bill.
because you are looking
And
at
then
the
you've got
material, you
the
can
medical
share
schemes
the sort
amendment bill,
of it'll be
which
two
medical scheme
groups
amendment
discussion
bill has been
in
trying
one.
to
So it's just half an
refine
hour each
the way
next
in
week.
which the
Okay, Yuval, you and your
private
colleagues can
healthcare
go ahead and
runs
present.
based on health insurance
Are there any
as governed
questions
by
from
the
anybody
Council
or
of Medical
comments?
Schemes.
Dr. Aki,
Then there's
I
the
think there were a
National
couple of other family
Insurance
physicians who
Scheme,
have
which
come
is
on
trying
board.
to
Dr. Manda,
create
Dr.
a new
Bekova.
national
I'm
health
not sure
insurance
if
system,
anyone else
predominantly
I
as
can just
driven by the public service,
Go
but
ahead.
now
say
having the
something, Prof,
opportunity to
Yes,
that
include
Maggie.
people
private
have
providers.
to
So
keep
there's a
in their
merging
minds
coming
that
across in
when
that
they go
space.
for an
And I
interview,
imagine
can
that
be
these
asked
two
those
bills,
questions
the
for
reason they're
Batu
coming
Pele
together is
principles.
that they need
That's
to
So
right.
be aware
address
of
the
them.
overlaps and
And
challenges
then
that
the other
exist.
thing to
And I
help
think
out
that
to the group
because
who
of
is
the
going to
of the
prepare
COVID,
maybe
these
an
discussions are
example
not being
for
held.
that Batu
I
Pele
think
principles,
in major
they can
part
go to
the
the clinic's
health
facility
market
manager
inquiry
and ask
findings
for
have not been
any
assimilated well.
redress
So I think
or
we're in the midst of a very
complaints and
important
whatever.
time
So
in
the
our
matron
country
or the
where
facility
health is being
manager can
discussed.
help
It's a
them with that,
major
and they can
issue.
easily
And in order
present
for
that
you to
case
contribute
to have
very
a
sensibly to
case
these
presentation.
discussions, it's of
Okay.
nice. Really
Yeah,
important.
these
Real
cases are all
importance that
around you. Just ask
look
around.
at this
For all of
legislation more
you,
closely
when you
yourself
present, remember you
and
got to
understand
prepare
it.
cases
And so
for
that you can
discussion,
contribute
so that
to
it
it
brings
and
out some
shape it in a
elements,
way that
important
really is good
elements
for you
of your
and for the
presentation where
country.
people actually
So I hope
interrogate.
that
It's not a regurgitation. We don't want to
Yuval,
regurgitate.
Natasha,
We
I
want
don't
to
know whether
use the
Yeah, so
Natasha
knowledge
you
to
we
reflect on a
to
case
add
particularly.
anything, or
Thank
you
you,
would
Maggie.
like to,
Very
because there's
useful.
Yeah, so we actually had some
Yeah,
really
Chairman,
nice
Prof.
resources on
Yes,
all of
Jimmy,
those
go ahead.
topics. There are nice
Yeah, I
slides.
just
What I'll do
wanted
is I'll
to
share them with
comment
everyone
on
and the
that
resources.
issue where they
Great.
talked about
Hopefully you'll
Wonderful.
read it
the
and
Patients'
incorporate them into
Rights
the topics
Charter.
next week.
Uh,
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
so please,
this
Natasha,
issue
will
of
you
the
please
patient has the
email
right
me
to
your
choose
presentations? People can have a look at that.
a health
Yeah, sure.
facility
Then
of
these
their
key
choice.
documents,
I
I
just
think
wanted
not
comments
only the
from
documents,
the
but if you can
presenters. What do
find
they think
easy to
about that
read,
statement?
Yeah,
summaries
And
just
of
how
the
just
applicable
document.
is
some
it
nice
in our
resources.
setup?
Hopefully.
Great stuff. stuff. That's, everybody's struggling with time.
Do you want to
something that
reflect on
just
that quickly?
validly reflects what goes
Sorry,
on.
may you
in
please
these few
repeat
documents.
the
Although I
question?
suggest everybody have a look at it.
Maybe
It's
you
not
can
all
use
bad
that. Let's
read.
leave it for this. Use this as part of
I
the
think you
discussion
please
as a case. Dr.
prepare a
Aki said on
case.
reflecting
Half a
about
page at
patients
max.
having a
If you wanna go
choice to
one
their own
page,
facility.
just keep it half a
How
page.
do you see
People
that
read that
in our
and
current
that you must please
circumstance?
end off with
But let me
two
suggest you leave that as
questions at
integrated
most
into the
that
case.
will help
Find a way
facilitate
that
a
you
discussion.
can bring it in the case.
Okay,
All right?
perfect.
Okay, thank you
And then
very
at
Is
least
much.
that all
you can
right? I
use
think
that
let's
and
use that
reflect
for
on
the
what you've
because
provided
time's
them
not on our side
and
for the next group.
make it a provocative
But thank
type
you
of
very much. I
scenario.
think there's
So there's
not
no
enough
right
time. So these are
answer
the
in
kind
it.
of questions I think
different
would
points
be
of
really
view.
good to discuss.
And I think
in
that will
group.
help all of you enjoy the discussion next week.
Yuval, go
so
ahead.
once again, thank you
guys
all
can
very
present.
much. I think Natasha and team, Yuval, as well as Wandile and team, thank you very much. It's been really excellent to see the effort that you put in. It is the first time. It will get better as we're going along, especially as everybody gets into the role of things with the format that we prepared. So I think this will work very well. It'll be much more interactive than it was last year and much more beneficial to you as a learning experience. So I think there are a couple of other family physicians on board. If they would like to just make some closing remarks, please feel free, and then we can close. Thank you very much, Natasha and team, and Landila and team.
Thank you, Prof, for the lovely afternoon. The template is quite challenging and it's nice. I like it. Thank you.
Good, wonderful. Thank you. I think that sounds great. Any other comments, Dr. Manda? Do you think this is going to work? Are there any challenges from your experience, Dr. Aki? I'm not sure if there's anyone else on the call.
Yeah, hi, Shabir. Can you still hear?
Yes, Jimmy. Yes, you can. Yes. Any comments, and we can close. Yeah.
Yes. The only comment I can make is I think this is a very good start. It's the first kind of a different structure of engagement that we are following in family medicine. I hope it will be beneficial and useful to everybody. I would just like to encourage our colleagues to understand that nobody knows everything. You should be able to express yourself without fear of anything. We are all learning in the process.
Absolutely.
And that's the key thing in family medicine. We all learn together and we all share experiences together. So don't be intimidated and feel inadequate in any shape or form. You will find this a very useful experience as you go into your community service, because whatever is being discussed here, you are going to somehow meet it practically when you go into the field, as opposed to sitting in a classroom and somebody lecturing to you about the pathophysiology of this and that and so on and so forth. This is a practical experience that I think you will really cherish when you start doing your community service, because once you start there, you are a doctor on your own. You are going to be expected to solve some of these conundrums and problems, and you will be the consultant wherever you are working. So please pay attention, and I ask for maximum engagement and participation. Thank you, Shabir.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. And I think the point that Dr. Aki raises is really important. Its success will be you. Your engagement will actually make this really much more useful. And I really urge you to follow that cue.